Irish Guy, and today this video is sponsored by Cernucci. I mean, does anyone see what I'm wearing? I know I'm not talking about this moldy scarf, which honestly smells like a meerkat's armpit. No. This is a beautiful Roma pendant. I mean, of course it's Roma. So Jose Mourinho can always be close to my heart, even when I'm off to take a shower in the dark. And yes, I know what you're all thinking. How delightfully creepy.
I bet you'd also buy his bathwater on eBay if given half the chance.
But listen, what is Cernucci, I hear you say? Well, they're an urban jewellery brand inspired by the British creative hip-hop, sport and fashion scene. And lads, look at these pendants. They all look like something worn by KSI. They're made using 18 karat gold. Some people wearing Cernucci right now are Nathaniel Chalobah and James Maddison. And they've got a great offer on at the moment, so if you buy one, you get another one completely for free. I mean, I got the Roma one and this Brazil one. Look at this. Look how shiny. So go on and scan the QR code or hit the link in the description. I mean, they've loads to choose from. Loads of big clubs. Although, bit unlucky if you're a Stoke fan. They don't really make any for Stoke. Hello, I am the Irish Guy, and right, pretty simple one this one. I'm gonna take a look at every Premier League club and find one English player who should get a transfer away from England and just to a team from abroad. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Eddie Nketiah, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Okay, I realize Eddie Nketiah just signed a new long-term deal at Arsenal, so the idea of him quitting the club now, yeah, I realize it's about as likely as Spider-Man taking a poo on my doorstep. But I think the best thing for Nketiah, if not now, then in 6 months or even a year, is just quit Arsenal and move to Germany. I mean, sure, he had his purple patch of form in the spring, but I'm sorry. I mean, if he scores even 12 Premier League goals this season, then I will lick peanut butter off the rim of an airport bathroom sink. But a move to Germany, I think he would become a Bundesliga superstar. I mean, yes, Daniel Farke seems to be the modern day David Wagner, just some wacky hipster who kept losing in the Premier League. But I think in his attacking system, Nketiah would score a handful of goals. He'd be his very own Timu Pukki. I mean, I think football is very quickly passed on from Lilian Thuram's son. I mean, yeah, we all wanted Marcus to be top class, and he was capped 4 times by France. But I mean, 3 goals last season, and 18 months ago, a 6-match ban for spitting in someone's face. If I was a Mönchengladbach fan, I'd be happy enough to stuff him in a suitcase and send him to Peru. Honestly, Eddie, go to Mönchengladbach. I mean, 20 Bundesliga goals later, it would get him in the England squad. Aston Villa, Danny Ings, Celtic. Does Scotland count as abroad? No. Well, in my head, it is a foreign league. Danny Ings turns 30 next week, and right now he's a bit part player for Aston Villa. Why is he sticking around? What is he gonna do in the Premier League now that he hasn't already done? I mean, last summer he was linked with a move to Man City, and so when he wound up at Villa Park, everyone thought it was sensational business. He scored 7 goals. That's it. Go to Scotland, Danny. Go to Scotland and play Champions League football for a massive club like Celtic. Become a hero in the Old Firm derby. Score 30 goals a season. He would be a magic signing for the club. I mean, Jermaine Defoe went to Scotland at age 37, but moving there at 30, Ings would be a Scottish Premier League monster. I mean, this season at Villa Park, yeah, he might spend his Tuesday evenings picking his belly button and watching Home and Away on the couch. But at Celtic Park, he could be scoring a late winner against PSG. Honestly, Danny, make the move. Bournemouth, James Hill, PSV. James Hill is a strange case. He's a promising 20-year-old defender who shone at Fleetwood Town. He's in the England under-21 squad. I mean, there is a footballer in there, and yet Scott Parker has mostly chosen to let him rot in the attic. I think Hill, instead of growing staler than the box of 3-week-old custard cream in the Bournemouth reserves, then instead just quit England and go get regular first-team football in the Eredivisie. I mean, PSV have just signed Jared Branthwaite from Everton, so clearly they're open to signing English talent. I mean, Hudson-Odoi was a Tottenham Academy nobody, and he's since ripped that league apart with his bare teeth. I just think playing under a world icon like Ruud van Nistelrooy and in a young defence alongside the likes of Kiana Hoover, I think this would be a brilliant move. Brentford, Josh Dasilva, Schalke. Okay, Josh Dasilva was utterly electric in midfield for Brentford in the Championship, but has just been an injury-riddled mess over the last year. This guy was a former Arsenal midfield wonder kid. I mean, there is talent in there, and I think he needs to move to Germany. Move to Schalke, a massive German giant who just got promoted from the 2nd division. I mean, they're back in the big time. I mean, just like how Demarai Gray had a 6-month rehabilitation in this league, I think Dasilva, away from the lights of the Premier League, could quietly do some good stuff in the Bundesliga. Bossing the midfield, playing in incredible atmospheres. To me, this one just makes sense. Brighton, Danny Welbeck, Istanbul, Basaksehir. Okay, don't get me wrong. Danny Welbeck is having a nice enough time at Brighton, but Come on, Danny. You were a former Manchester United superstar. Don't you want to be scoring more than 6 goals a season? I mean, this man is 31 years of age and yet has never scored double digits in the Premier League season ever. And yet somehow is 16 goals for England? I mean, how does that work? Move to Turkey and suddenly this man is a 20 goal a season goal machine. I mean, come on, there's only where Bamford Gomi and Pepe Cisse chewed it apart as if it was made of candy floss. So, move to Istanbul Basaksehir. Strike up a clever partnership with your old team at Mesut Ozil. I mean, this man would definitely be an upgrade on Stefano Okaka up front, who's about as dangerous as a dying flower. I mean, honestly, this is a country which gave Darius Vassell a hero's welcome at the airport. And he was just some fat mince pie from Aston Villa. So a former Manchester United and Arsenal centre forward, oh, he'd be treated as a king. Go on and do it, Danny. Chelsea, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Roma. Well, this is pretty simple. Callum Hudson-Odoi is being squeezed out of Chelsea. I mean, I'm guessing the mere sight of Raheem Sterling and the Chelsea kids probably forced this guy to get repeatedly sick in his lunch. Move to Roma and play under Jose Mourinho. I mean, it's a simple, quick fix for your career. I mean, Jose is clearly targeting English talent right now. I mean, right now he's still figuring out Wilfred Zaha. I mean, let's be real. That man is the past. Hudson-Odoi is still only 21. Just go and move to Rome, link up in an exciting strike force with your childhood pal Tammy Abraham. I mean, honestly, you're not exactly going to get homesick when you're eating fish and chips and playing FIFA at Tammy's flat. Jose Mourinho would give this man a purpose, take his raw potential, and finally, he would be the first manager of Callum's career who would actually bother to mold him into a better player. Honestly, he'd be a superstar in Rome. Crystal Palace, Jack Butland, Real Mallorca. Yeah, this is a bit random, but let's be real. Jack Butland's career is in free fall. I mean, this is a former England goalkeeper who's now third choice at Crystal Palace. I mean, this is a man who was at the Olympics as a teenage boy, and now everyone just deems him to be no better than an undercooked potato waffle. I think a move to La Liga would do this man good. I mean, goalie vacancies are rare to come by in football, but Real Mallorca just saw their 37-year-old captain and number 1, Manolo Reina, leave for Malaga on a free. I mean, yes, I realise he'd actually been already replaced last season when they got Sergio Rico on loan from PSG, but I mean, he's since got back to eat croissants in Paris. So go on, Butland. I still believe there is talent in this boy's fingers. That's a weird sentence to say. Sounds very Willy Wonka on the bus. But go on. I moved to sunny Spain, regular first team football. To me, it makes sense. Everton, Dele, Alli, Sporting Lisbon. There is no English footballer on the planet who needs to move abroad more than Dele Alli. I mean, just like Jack Wilshere, this man is finished in England aged 26. How tragic is that? This is a defining season of Alli's career, that he turns 27 in April. He's not young anymore. I mean, take a good hard look at Jack. I mean, do you want to be a TalkSport pundit / manager of Tottenham under 18s when you're 30? Because that's where you're heading if you don't screw your head on Dele. Move to Sporting Lisbon. I mean, this is a club with molded, underwhelming flops like Bruno Fernandes and Pedro Goncalves into number 10 superstars. I mean, honestly, one was a Wolves reject, the other was scoring about 3 goals a season in Italy. I mean, waiting around on Everton's bench is just a waste of Alli's time. So a move to a less physical league in Portugal and the promise of Champions League football again? I think this is the transfer which will save this man's career. Fulham, Nathaniel Chalobah, Al Nassr. I just know Fulham midfielder Nathaniel Chalobah is gonna just waste the entire season wallowing on the Craven Cottage bench. So I don't know. Why not just move to Saudi Arabia for a big pot of cash? I mean, go on, act like a drunken leprechaun dancing around at the end of the rainbow. Just move away and get the bag, because I promise you, Nathaniel, there is nothing for you in the Premier League anymore. Not when you've got the first touch of a tree stump. Leeds, Patrick Bamford, Cadiz. I'm gonna give you a spoiler for Patrick Bamford's career. He is a Premier League one-season wonder, okay? I mean, to be fair, that's better than I thought. I thought he was just going to be the next David Nugent, someone who never did anything in the top flight. But no, he had his one brilliant season for Leeds after lockdown. But now, don't waste your time, Paddy. Just go move to Spain. I mean, in the same way Joselu left the Premier League after stinking up the place at Newcastle and Stoke, only to bag 10 to 15 goals in the bottom half of the Liga. I think Bamford could make a low-key move to Cadiz. I mean, their top scorer last season was Alvaro Negredo. I mean, Bamford already replaced him at Middlesbrough once 5 years ago. I mean, Negredo turns 37 next month. This is a man who's been linked to Hull City 13 years ago. By now, he must be so old and tired, he probably gets a stitch just squeezing out a poo. So yeah, a move to Cadiz. Bamford will score about 10 goals a season, get to play against Real Madrid and Barcelona, living in a sunny Spanish villa. To me, It makes sense. Leicester, Jamie Vardy, Inter Miami. Jamie Vardy has the potential to be a global superstar in America. I'm sorry, but this is a guy already at Hollywood directors wanting to write him a movie. I mean, that country love a rags to rich story. I mean, this man is Santiago Munez with a drinking problem and a wife so annoying that I'm guessing any conversation with her would cause you to stick pencils in your ears. I mean, this man already owns Rochester, New York City FC. I mean, he's got a business in America. He's 35 now. He can just leave Leicester as a legend and just go and join the David Beckham revolution and just have fun. I mean, he can mostly ignore the tactical ramblings of Phil Neville. I mean, someone who's probably got the coaching authority of a chewed up sandwich, and just score a bunch of goals in the MLS until you're 40. Go on, Jamie. Just go and live your life. Why not? Liverpool, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Real Sociedad. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain needs to quit England. And considering Real Sociedad spent a year sniffing on Jesse Lingard, I have a feeling they'd be open to this guy too. So a chance to play in European football under a tactical genius like Imanol Aguafil and trying to break into a field featuring the likes of Mikel Merino, Azier Iramendi and David Silva. I mean, it could only improve this guy as a footballer. I mean, he would have a fight to break into the team, sure, but honestly, I think this would be a clever move. Man City, Kyle Walker, Barcelona. Okay, this move looks a little bit weird, right? Seeing Kyle Walker in a Barcelona kit would probably take some getting used to. I mean, it's a bit like seeing a dog in a mini skirt. But if João Cancelo gets his right back spot back, then Walker, at 32, might also be getting phased out of Man City. Barcelona needs a top class right back in their new rebuild. I mean, is Walker too old for Xavi's project? Well, Dani Alves signed when he was a year of 40, so no. Probably not. I mean, can you imagine the link-up play between Walker and Rafinha on the right-hand side? I mean, go on, Kyle. Yes, a CV featuring the likes of Sheffield United, Tottenham and Man City. I mean, it sounds nice enough, but if you added a monster European club, that would probably cement you as one of the greatest English right-backs of all time. Man United, Marcus Rashford, Borussia Dortmund. Marcus Rashford needs a fresh start. A few years ago, sure, he was linked to Barcelona and PSG, but I mean, after the season you just had, there's more chance of you pissing a telly out your knob. Move to Borussia Dortmund. Play in an exciting, youthful frontline and just get some confidence back in your feet. And I have a feeling being involved in a credible title race and playing alongside such exciting, creative and refreshing ballers, I think he'd be a Bundesliga superstar. And for Dortmund, I mean, what's the alternative? Just blindly praying that Sebastian Haller's gonna work? You know, the West Ham flop? Newcastle, Dwight, Gayle, Fenerbahce. Dwight Gayle can play in the Champions League next season. Yes, despite being a 32-year-old ineffective dish towel, this man can realistically be building up that anthem on TV. I mean, how? By moving to the Super League. And why not? Lads, Josh King just signed for Fenerbahce. They've got Mombada Samata and Enner Valencia on the payroll. Gayle is better than all of them. Yeah, he's too lightweight for the Premier League, but I mean, he can still finish. He knows where the goal is. I mean, this club can still pay wages to Stephen Corker every week. So I see no reason why they can't fit in Gayle. And you know what? I think in his debut season, he would win the Golden Boot with 25 goals. I mean, why not? Mario Balotelli nearly got his hands on that prize last season, and he's been finished for years. Honestly, Gayle's agent, get him a Champions League cheat code move to Turkey. Honestly. Get him in the Champions League. Nottingham Forest, Jack Colback, Mulder. Oh dear, I fear for Jack Colback this season. Listen, I know a return to this league to prove people wrong is tempting for the guy, but he's 32 now. I just know midfielders are gonna dance around him as if his legs were made of cheese. Why not just go and live an easy life in Norway? Go and play European football for Mulder. I mean, that'll be fun, right? But more importantly, it'll be safe for your dignity. It'll save you from being a match of the day meme for getting nutmegged by Paul Dummett. I mean, come on! Southampton, Adam Armstrong, Werder Bremen. Since getting promoted back to the Bundesliga, Werder Bremen aren't moving mad. I mean, they're on a mission to stuff their team with average British talents. I mean, they've already signed Oliver Burke and Lee Buchanan. If they can get the money together, I think a £10 million move for Adam Armstrong would be genius. I mean, he just can't hack the Premier League, but he is a championship goal machine. Maybe move to Germany might see his confidence return. He might net about 10 goals in the Bundesliga? And lads, yes, this is a club with fallen on hard times, but he'd still be wearing the same shirt, once adorned by goal-scoring legends like Miroslav Klose and Claudio Pizarro. It's still a giant club, so go on, Armstrong. Why not? Tottenham, Ryan Sessegnon, RB Leipzig. Okay, Ryan Sessegnon is 23 now. This guy needs regular games. Right now, he's just a backup left wing back for Spurs. I think a return to the Bundesliga. Go and join RB Leipzig. I have a feeling he'd break into the starting 11, play about 30 games a season, and finally, might actually start realising that Fulham potential. West Ham, Craig Dawson, Philadelphia Union. The writing is on the wall, Craig. You're soon going to be yesterday's news at West Ham. Just go and get a move to the MLS. Wolves, Max Kilman, Napoli. This is left field. But Napoli are selling Kalidou Koulibaly to Chelsea, right? They need a defender, so why not Max Kilman? Arguably the most underrated English centre-half on the planet. I mean, he's 25 and never even been glanced at by another club. I mean, is it because he began his career at Welling United and Maidenhead? Is it because he represented his country in futsal? Is that why everybody's sneering at this boy? There seems to be some sort of snobbery towards this guy. But he's a top footballer, and I think he moved to Italy, just like it did for Fikayo Tomori. I think it would take his career to the next level. In Naples, this man would be a beast.